It's a day we'll all remember well, in particular because Sanju Samson and his 100 has got India a fucking series win. I'll say it. I'm so happy for the fellow South Indian. It's high time. It's his 16th ODI. He's been playing ODI cricket for 8 years, but he gets the monkey off his back. First international century for Sanju. Cheta, well done to all you Kerala boys joining us right now. Please like this stream, and of course, Gurkirat and Nikhil Popa will pick your questions. My name is Avni Shagde. You're watching the match review on cricket.com. India getting the series win and bilateral barps. I mean, you've heard that before. They're living up to it, all right. There's so much to talk about in terms of Rajat Patidar and that flashy 22 he played, how much that we liked of it, and what Arshdeep also being the pick of the series in terms of the bowlers getting 10 so far in the 3 games. Nikhil, right? How much did you like that? I mean, it was a drab affair, 78-run win for India in the end. But did you think Sanju Samson's century was the highlight of the day?
Yeah, truly. And also Arshdeep, but more on Arshdeep later. I think Sanju's innings, again, a lot of us have been wanting this and we have been hoping for this and for it to finally come. And it was a very convincing knock. At no point of time did you feel that he was rushed. Most of his shot selection was as per the need of that hour. And despite Tilak taking his time in that stand, he was still able to go at the pace that he wanted to. So that just shows how much he wanted this and how much he was very sure that this is how I want to go about it. So kudos to Sanju. Hopefully, hopefully this is not a flash in the pan in terms of him getting chance because I'm sure he'll score, but he should get the right spot for that. So hopefully this is just the first of many that goes on to score. Again, not about the ton, but about impactful knocks. So very happy for Sanju. It's been a long time coming, so deserves all the time and applause in the world.
Indeed, his previous best was against South Africa in Lucknow, that 86. And of course, TikToks, yeah, you were waiting, but we're here already. And you need to appreciate us in terms of having the time schedule. I mean, credit to Shaunak actually putting in 12-15 bang on. The last wicket fell at 12-14, and here we are 12-16. Sanju built the innings and ended the South African innings with an easy catch, and India had most wins, 27 in a calendar year. So props to the men in blue. And speaking of the man in blue in this post-match review, let's get to him and his thoughts about Sanju Samson, Gurkirat, because he, of course, paced himself, as one of the comments said there. 56 of 80 he was at one point in time, and then that acceleration towards the end. What did you like about Sanju's innings the most tonight?
Yeah, firstly, he did not succumb to the left arm pace weakness that he had. I
Yeah.
remember in the preview, I said that, if he opens it, it may not end well for him. And otherwise, if you look at the entire pacing of the innings, Anirudh, had put a curve of his strike rates from a
Here
20
we
ball
go.
phase. Yeah, this one's there. So this sums up how well he managed his own strike rate and the pace of the innings. And you felt that in between, India's scoring rate was falling down, but he was there to pick it up. And eventually he finished with a very good 108 of 114. And on this pitch, which it was a good batting pitch, but at times you felt there was turn, at times you felt the ball was maybe stopping a little bit or staying low, still managed to found a way. And yeah I was just looking at his career. He's managed to play one impactful knock in almost every series, because before this he played in that West Indies series where he, I think, only got a chance in that. He got 2 games, not the first one. The second one he had gotten out early, but in the third one he played a very good 50, batting at 4, where he was just coming in and going for it, to give the innings the impetus, and did well. So uh, it showcases that he has more than one way to bat. If the situation requires him to go after the bowling, he can do that. If the situation like today requires him to grind it out, he's also shown that he can do that. Hopefully this inning should now inspire a lot of confidence in the team management, and 7 months from now, when India play the next ODI, they don't forget about this. It's important that they really don't forget about this, because this is one player who's been really treated unfairly. Sometimes you could say his own temperament has not helped, but ever since he's been playing ODIs for India, I think from the beginning of 2022, I don't think that criticism holds now.
Absolutely. I think I put out a reel, the first ever reel that I did in Hindi. And you guys remember it well before the World Cup, that World Cup Toota hai Aapka and Sanju Samson stats showing. Hopefully that reel is bettered on. But yeah, you
Yeah,
just mentioned
I need to
batting.
see that reel. I need to see
That
that
reel.
reel and save it
See that
and
reel. It's
save it.
somewhere on Instagram. Follow me on Hector every day and follow us on cricket.com indeed. But Gurkit, I just come back to you before I pick Nick's mind about other things as well. You just mentioned it there. I mean, how he got the better of the left arm pacers. We'll put that depiction out as well, and I want you to talk me through it.
Yeah, so it's right up there. It's something we discussed that it could happen, and today the fact that he did not get out to them, in fact, scored at a very good rate, also sums up. And you really felt that in the first power play he wanted to give himself time. He was not in a rush or he was not in a hurry. Maybe because at the back of his mind he probably knew that if he doesn't play an impactful score today, uh, he would, like, no one can tell when he will play for India next. So maybe that was the added
Hmm.
motivation or whatever. But yeah, good to see.
Okay. Next, what do you put it down to? Sanju Samson having just a brilliant day out. Was it South Africa's bowlers also kind of, I don't know, not hitting the right areas? Because talk to me about this depiction about how both the teams bowled, in particular the first power play.
Yeah, actually, if you look at it, you'll have to also remember what you saw on the screen, because I felt India were a bit here and there in terms of when they were bowling to whom. So again, just this won't tell you entirely, because I think Rajat got India off to a decent start, but
Yeah.
then again, it was a very something that you wanted more of, but that did not happen. But you still see the grouping is fairly okay there, but anything that was length, they were not able to do much about it. And it was only when you were very short is when they went after it. And you can look at this dismissals as well. They've all been in the start, but when the ball is doing something, that is where you will get that dismissal. So for Gaikwad also it was the same as was for Rajat, who left the two stumps open for Burger to sneak through. So I think I'll not look too much into those dismissals, but again, whatever you saw little of Rajat, it was great. I was slightly disappointed with how Mukesh started today. uh, and again, just right through the ODI series, I think he's just been. I expected more of him. In the first game as well, he was the only guy to not take wickets as you would expect him to. In the second, and even today, you felt that maybe he is not there at his best. He came back to get Miller, and I
Yeah.
was surprised why did he not go around the wicket to Zorzi all the time, because that's just the first thing that people are doing to left-handers: go around the wicket, cram them for room, and look to get them edge. But maybe a learning experience. Arshdeep was great for India. He's been the guy who set the tone. He again got Riza out third time in the series. So I think India will take that, and India are a side that depend a lot on new ball wickets. So every success that they have, when they don't have it, it reflects the way they lose. So I think that is something that I hope India can keep building on, because I think both Ashdeep and Avesh were very good in the series, so to speak. So I think that's a positive for India. And yeah, I think Mukesh, again, we're not quite sure that he should be part of the ODI setup, but there is still time for this format.
Yeah, it just makes you think. Of course, we touched upon in the preview, guys, when India will play their next ODI, and we're guessing 6 to 7 months at best as well. Gurkirat, come in here. You want to make a point?
Yeah, I mean, after the Australia series, it's something that Nikhil had brought up, and we discussed about the lack of control from Pacers, and you
Hmm.
felt that at this point of time, maybe Mukesh is showing more control than both Arshdeep, Avesh, and even Prasid. And in this series,
No.
Mukesh has not shown control. So it just tells you that how almost all of Indian Pacers, barring maybe Bumrah, uh, just have their days, and they can offer a lot of variance, and you really don't know at this point of time how to really manage those or to have those few days of variances where you're very good
Yeah.
or either just all over the place.
And see, the surprising factor for this is it's almost as if Arshdeep and Mukesh have swapped roles. That the way in which Arshdeep is bowled in the ODI series, you kind of felt that okay, This is how Mukesh was able to bowl, which is surprising because Mukesh is your designated longer format bowler. So you'd expect him to be having more ideas, more options in his mind and repertoire that, okay, this is what I'll try. But again, it just tells you that there is a long way to go in terms of getting that next batch of bowling options who you can rely on. So, but again, I think this side will take this series win because it's not easy to win here. Uh, and again, Sanju, I think, is the player of the match. First guy to hit a ton for India after 2018 in South Africa. So again, very very special knock that from Sanju. So they'll take this, but there's a lot more learning to do.
Indeed, lots
Yeah.
more learnings. But 2-1, it stands in terms of India pocketing the series. And now we'll move on to the test. Indeed. Just want to talk about a lot more things in this game. So keep the comments coming through. Of course, we'll take all of them and we're here for the next 20 minutes or so. We'll talk about Rajat Patidar in just a bit. But just want to ask you guys, at one stage, I was watching this having dinner, 161 for three. Have South Africa kind of lost this with the shot selection and how they went about it? Because I feel like the openers did a decent job. Then Rassi van der Dusen just got stuck. Eventually, Akshar cleaning him up. But what was the turning point for you, Gurkirat? Could you put it down to anything? Was it that bizarre Markram dismissal? Even though if KL Rahul dropped, it would have probably ended on the stumps.
Yeah, probably that you'd have to say, because Markram was batting very well and you felt, he was just about to change gears, went after Akshar, hit him for a six, after which, Zorzi also hit Akshar for a six, and you felt like now, things could really go out of control. And but credit to Sundar, it's something, when you were asking me before the game, what would you like from Sundar? You yourself said that maybe 1 for 40. He gave a performance of 2 for 38, and I thought even with the bat, sort of did well. The shot that he got out to as well, it timed it well. Maybe it was a slightly longish boundary with Markram there. Some other fielder could have hit it for a six, but it's something that I've seen with Sundar in ODIs now, that he's able to vary his pace as a spinner a lot more. And I don't know if anyone picked it up, but KL was also asking Akshay to bowl slightly slower. Even
Yep,
Sanjay
yep,
Manjrekar said it on air.
yep, yep,
Correct.
yep.
So
Do you like the way
so
he
yeah.
bowled the right-handers compared to left-handers? If you look at this illustration.
I have actually felt that I don't know. I don't have numbers for this, but I felt that Sundar bowls better to right-handers because he's able to generate a little more extra bounce from that good length. You
Good
saw
length.
that in Bangladesh, saw that in New Zealand, which sort of cramps the right-hander for room. He's not someone who you see in this pitch map. He's hardly bowled anything full. So when you are
So he's not
in that four
overcompensated,
to
but he's
seven.
not dragged anything out down either. So it's quite remarkable in terms of
Yeah.
just being.
So he's always been fairly accurate. If you whenever he's played regularly, but I think what sort of makes him a little more useful against right-handers is that he gets a little more extra bounce from this good length, which makes it difficult for the right-hander batter to line him up. It's
Yeah.
it's what I felt. I don't have numbers for this, but it's just something that I'm talking from the visuals that I can recall.
Interesting. Let's, of course, ask next about Rajat Patidar then, because we spoke about him in the preview. That 22 that he got, you can at least tell the people in 10 years' time that he outscored the captain, for starters, 21 that KL got. So he outscored KL. But that those two shots that he played, the one pull and then the one over long gone, I know that detrimental in his eventual downfall was, again, going on the leg side for that Hoik, and Berger had the last laugh. But that 22, did it give us a little glimpse in the future in terms of what we can expect from Patidar? Or again, am I getting carried away as an RSB fan?
No, I wouldn't say you are getting carried away because it's not something that we don't expect of him. But at this level, he'll also know that teams will look at him and how he's going to go in the IPL as well. So this will be a good time for him also to be in touch that, okay, there aren't a lot of ODIs. India will play a lot of T20 formats. So whenever he plays next, he has to be ready at from his end as well. That, okay, if these are the things that are likely to trouble me, do I have the answer? Because that proactiveness is what I feel will keep him ahead of the competition. Because you look at Gill or Gaikwad in the T20 format, that's where you kind of feel that, okay, they aren't quite getting the time to get ahead of their competition. That okay, if there is something that's stopping me in this format, what am I doing to get better at it? So if Rajat is able to find that out, and like we saw today, even Simon Dull pointed it out that he's keeping the stumps, he's giving showing them far too many stumps for for his liking. So maybe he can do something about that and just try and get better and more compact so that whenever you get the next chance, it's not the same mistake, because that will put you ahead of the race, because the competition for batting in the top three in India is massive. So any edge that you can get while you're not playing is always going to keep you in the long run also in the better shape.
Yeah, I just want to bring up a CDC joke over there. I know there's a CDC joke that you throw a stone in Bangladesh and you find a left arm spinner. Similarly, you throw a stone in India, you find a top three batter. Especially for
Yeah.
ODIs, you might struggle to find a top three batter for the other two formats, but for ODIs, there's a factory
Yeah.
line and multiple factory lines to give you
Yeah.
those top three ODI batters.
Yeah, even Anonymous going on to say it's difficult because the next series is next year and Kohli IRL returns and he's unlucky indeed. Another batsman I want to talk about, Gurkirat, is Tilak Varma getting 52, and it obviously bodes well for him. But what does it do to his case in the grander scheme of things? Is he a definite lock in because he's a left hander more than all the other top right handed batters?
Yeah, so you'd always want the a left-hander to be there so that it can help India overcome the threat of left arm spin. But we have seen whether it was Ishan Kishan or whether it's now been Tilak Varma, that they've not been able to do as well against left arm spin. Today also you saw the struggle. Last game as well, Tilak got out to Keshav Maharaj. This game also. So the good thing is you would have to appreciate that while being stuck, he did not really give it away. He did not throw it away. He understood that this format has time. You can still score some runs, but it was a grind. These were valuable runs, but not the most fluent ones. So you'd have to appreciate the temperament. But yes, maybe India would want him to do better against left arm spin and improve those numbers, because you'd really want a left-hander in their top three to be able to take on left-arm spin. But if your left-handers are also not doing well against left-arm spin, then you might as well go with your best right-handed batters and back them to do the job.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because you look at that particular grouping that Maharaj had over Tilak in this ODI today, and I mean, you look at that one white ball, and that was his undoing. He tried to heave it in the leg side, got out, and that was a time where Samson was just inching closer to his 100, so he felt like he wanted to put the accelerator on them. But look, I mean, you can't really criticize Tilak over there. Boys, just want to ask you about KL Rahul then. This series win, what does it do for him as potential ODI captain? If Hardik was fit, would Hardik have captained this series? Because I feel Hardik being an all rounder, sure, you could probably give him the T20 captaincy, but ODI captaincy, do you think KL is now the next potential lock in?
Yeah, I think he's been the one who's done that in the past as well. So you probably feel that this is the format where you feel that KL is the better option there for you. And with Hardik's injury and workload management, I think it's better that he takes care of the T20 format and Mumbai Indians for now. The rest, I think others will find a way to manage.
Rukirat, you mentioned in the preview as well, like how these kind of series kind of do more harm than good and for batters. But if KL had to kind of end up on the wrong side of the result today, people would be like, it's a shit bilateral, but you've still not got the business done, and they would just be throwing daggers at KL. So he's at least not got that flag today.
Yeah, it happened in earlier last year when everyone was having a go at his captaincy, when the reality was Indian bowlers were just ineffective in all three games. I think before that series or right throughout that series, we had found out that from the end of 20, like post the 2019 World Cup till that series in South Africa, India had the worst numbers for any side in the power play. India were not picking up wickets in the power play. So, everyone was having a go at his captaincy, etc., etc., that why he's opening, without understanding that if he doesn't open, then India will not be able to play Shreyas and Pant both in the middle order. So that way, it's a good series win for him, because it's also not come pretty straightforward. Had it come pretty straightforwardly, would have said, "Oh, the team has done the job," and there would have not been any discussions on his captaincy at all. Uh, what this win ensures is that at least there is no negatives attached to it. You would feel okay that he's done decently. Uh, but his dismissal today is something that he'll look back at. It's completely random, out of nowhere.
Relatable.
But and last innings got a good start, got a good 50, but again got so. Uh, in these situations when you are the senior most batter and probably the only senior batter, you want then KL to carry on after how he
Mm.
got out in the last game, because it's something that you saw a lot with Kohli, that when the first team was not playing, when the Tendulkar, Sehwags, Gambhirs, Yuvrajes were not playing, he just took that onus upon himself to score those hundreds,
Mm.
and that is why he could literally break down that door into the 11. So KL doesn't need to break down that door, but that's the only way he will also sort of make a case for his captaincy, because how things work with captaincy is that you want your captain to be the most secure player in the 11, someone who gives you confidence regardless of what the situation is. So good stuff for KL. Now hopefully a good series with the bat uh, in the test matches too, because you feel now is the time he should really take up that step up in his career, because potential has always been there. There has been sporadic brilliances. Just hopefully consistent consistent brilliance now coming across formats, because he's capable of that. And yeah,
He is.
it's time.
Just on the KL point though, I do feel a lot of captaincy that and things that India do is still very monotonous and template based. Because
Yeah,
even today you didn't see any short stuff being attempted by going over the wicket or around the wicket for that sense. Even today you did not bowl Tilak Varma
Tilak,
at all.
yeah.
So I don't think you are ticking any box. But again, maybe I have given up completely in that sense that maybe it's a system call only that they don't want to do it now, which is again fair and fine. But I just feel in all of these you are losing out on key chances, because then eventually like it happened like it is for the T20 format, that there are limited games, and then they're wondering and scrambling, okay, now when do I give him a chance, when do I see if he can bowl. So I think that's where I still feel the captaincy bit is just at this point of time executing plans better, and he's great at DRS calls. But I still feel there isn't enough proactive captaincy being done. Is That's my POV, that there isn't much proactive captaincy being done still for India.
It just makes you think about KL Rahul and his journey so far in the last 4 or 5 years, and how it's kind of really taken shape. You look at even how Mayank got a little hit in the head in the nets, and then he got the opportunity to open, and he took that with both hands. And then, of course, he got that chance to captain the South African Test. He took that, not in the best way possible. People are still giving him critic for that, but generally, even with Pant's injury, Gurkirat, and how he then had to don the gloves for the World Cup and be a proper consistent member in the ODI side, which has boded well for his captaincy. Where do you see this story end with KL being captain for India? Do you think it's just one format? Do you think he can eventually manage two? Because I'm not even going to say three, because I don't think he fits the T20 scheme of things with so much of talent around. So do you think KL not just a lock in for ODIs, but also a potential test captain, or am I getting carried away?
I mean, there is potential right now, and he does seem to be the next in line, because you look at that 11, someone's either too young or someone's yet to really sort of stamp their authority as a permanent member of the 11. So yeah, it won't be surprised if it happens. I just hope that if and when he becomes captain, his captaincy career does not go like the other Rahul, who had adjusted to the team's demands, kept wickets and everything. Hopefully that is different, but yeah, won't be surprised if in the next WTC cycle, which is the one after 2025, if it happens, that he could be that guy, because you still don't know when Pant will be available to play top flight cricket. Might play the IPL, but playing T20 cricket and 5-day test cricket is very different. And then we don't know if how much can he keep, or will he keep, etc., etc. So at this point of time, which is why I said that if he has a good series with the bat versus South Africa, all of this helps, because you get a lot when you start getting confidence of a player in their primary skills. that is when you feel the most comfortable in giving them additional responsibility.
Yeah.
Usually you don't want to give someone who's struggling in their primary skill an additional responsibility of running the team. So
Okay.
there's that.
Shaunak Ghosh will take that question in just a bit. No, we'll talk about the test series for about 3 minutes before ending the show. We were speaking about KL Rahul's captaincy. Let's just talk about his um, counterpart in terms of Markram today. Nick's Santa de Cruz asking us, what do you reckon of him? Because I don't think, I mean, when you look at South Africa's case, 2025 Champions Trophy, Bavuma will be 35. 2027 ODI World Cup, Bavuma will be 37. So I think they'll look past him. And right now, in the ODI scheme of things, it's probably Markram who's the best choice to lead the Proteas. So how do you assess him so far in his early career as captain and in this series having won all the tosses?
I think he did decently well. Wouldn't read too much in the first game because that can happen with anybody. It's happened
Yeah.
with India far too many times to have any dig at anyone for that regard. Even today, I think he was smart enough to come in and bowl, and that is always handy because he's someone who's very smart and is able to adapt to surfaces. So, in that regard, I don't think again it is still very good execution of plans in terms of what's decided. Where I feel Makram will want to really be there is in terms of closing the game out. Like you said just a while back, today was a perfect day for somebody like him, Klassen and Miller to close this game out. They didn't need too many in terms of for all of these combined with Mulder to follow and Maharaj as well. And Zorzi had done the job. He had got given them a platform from where you want them to really seal the deal. So while Klassen got a good ball, that's where I think they'll want to step up because it's the engine room that they want to kick on. And with the Champions Trophy coming up, you think these three are the guys as your future leaders. So you don't want Miller to come good only when like once in 5 games or in that sort. So I think in this series, both of his dismissals have been very, very, I don't know, disappointing to say, to use that word because he's just flashed at one outside off and he's gotten out that way. But then you expect more out of your seniors. So let's see how that happens because with South Africa, I think the one day format is still sorted, but their batting will need some uplifting.
Uplifting, and only time will tell when South Africa will get about their ODI business next. But we'll take some comments right now. And if you guys are enjoying our content, please hit the like button and subscribe because we've got on to 42K onwards and upwards right now. It's because of you guys. And also let us know right now who you guys think will win this test series. I would love for it to have been 3 matches, but we're getting there only two, the Boxing Day test and the New Year's. And Virat Kohli already has an impeccable record in South Africa. I think he has about 700 runs in 7 tests, averaging over 50 vaguely. I was seeing the preview, and I think they were kind of showing that in the broadcast. So I'm not going to jinx it. And I hope Gurkirat's tweets on Christmas don't jinx it because there'll be a lot of fans asking about Paji, how much you think Virat's going to get. So here we go. Shaunak Ghosh asking Paji his prediction for the test series. Obviously, we know the big names out for South Africa. Rabada, Noka, and Giri are missing, but Shami Pant are also missing for India. We know that. What's going to happen, Paji? Do you think India will draw first blood, or do you think it'll be a damn squibber series? Virat's played tougher attacks in South Africa, and he's battered them all. He's going to face like Bacha Jansen, Mulder. Who else is there? Who else
The
जिसको
is
last
जिसको
time,
जिसको
the
जिसको जो
last
बच्चा
time
बोला
the
है, he'll give a
broadcaster,
wicket to every one of them.
there?
the last time the one of the Indian broadcasters called an opponent bacha, you know what happened?
What happened?
India lost their first ever series in that
First ever.
country.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Oh
it happened just ahead of just after the 2015 World Cup. India were about to tour Bangladesh for an ODI series, and they had this campaign "Bachcha bada ho gaya," "Bachcha bachcha nahi raha," and yeah,
No,
they
all I'm
showed that.
saying because it's probably potentially Marco Jansen, Gerald Coetzee, Vian Mulder. They probably play Maharaj. I don't think Nande Berger will start that first test. So, I mean, all in all, it's
See,
looking good for India.
it's not just the batting bit, but it's also Indian bowlers being consistent. Uh, Last tour, you felt that in Johannesburg, 240 runs were enough, but India could only take 3 wickets. It had partly to do with Siraj's injury, partly to do with the inconsistency. Bumrah rarely bowled one of the worst spells that he's bowled in Test cricket in the second innings. Then you felt in Cape Town, India were let down with the bat, where they only got to 210. But even those 210 shouldn't have been chased as easily as how it was chased, with only a loss of 3 wickets. So in recent times, the bowling has also been a problem outside India.
But right now, obviously, I know I've been saying Prasid, people are even saying Mukesh, but obviously, given the ODI series evidence, maybe not Mukesh. But I still feel that they'll go with Bumrah, Siraj, Shardul, Ashwin Jadeja.
Would be very surprising if they play Ashwin. Very, very surprising. I can understand the merit behind it because you don't feel your paces can offer you a lot of control. But across these two managements, you've seen that they really don't feel that Ashwin can. Because even if they play Ashwin, what will happen is that uh, he will not get the ball enough. What happened last time was that when Ashwin was there, I think the longest spell that he bowled was 6 overs. Now,
Hmm.
for a spinner to bowl a longest spell in across 3 Test matches of only 6 overs was never going to help, because you were not never going to get into rhythm. And in that Johannesburg Test, it was Ashwin who took one of those wickets. He got Keegan Peterson out, and then we obviously remember that Elgar LBW. But there is no point in playing two spinners if you are not going to give a extended spell to even one of them. It even happened with Jadeja in 2021 in England. So would be very surprising if India played two. It would either, you'd hope that if they do it, the pitch is dry, but this management has not read the conditions well either across formats. So yeah, can't say much, but a lot of a lot of brunt will have to be carried by Bumrah, and you'll hope that Siraj, in the last 1.5 to 2 years, that the consistency he's shown in white ball, he's able to replicate in red ball. uh, and yes, Shardul is Shardul. You can't really predict him anyway, predict what will happen with him.
Yeah, because Shardul, barring Shami, was the highest wicket taker for India when I look at it right now. Both Shardul and Bumrah got 12 apiece in that 2-1 series defeat. 2-1 it was, right? We pocketed the
Yeah,
first.
true. We
But
India won in Centurion, where they'd never won a Test match before. Ended
yeah.
up losing in Johannesburg, where they had won 2 Test matches, once in 2006, then in 2018, and then they lost in Cape Town as well. Where I don't think India have won a Test match in Cape Town.
And last time we didn't have Jadeja, right?
Yeah, Jadeja and Rohit were missing. So Rohit
So
and
that's why
Jadeja
Ashwin
being
played
there.
all three tests. So Ashwin played all three tests and he just ended up taking 3 wickets the entire series. So that might
But if you
kind of go
if you
against
if
him.
you see the number of overs that he's bowled, I don't think he bowled even 80 overs across 3 Test matches.
Yeah, I'll tell you what how much he bowled. He bowled 64.1 overs.
Yeah.
His series
So
figure 3 for 385.
yeah, so 64 overs across 6 innings of bowling. That's
Sorry,
hardly
3 for 182, I stand corrected.
yeah. So that's hardly 11 overs a game. And if like I said, he hardly bowled a 6 over spell. So 11 overs per innings, and that too not in one spell. What would the I think the biggest mistake that India did in that series was they played both Shardul and Ashwin when they should have played Vihari and dropped Ashwin, because they had no confidence in Ashwin's bowling, and you can't have two batters who are not even number sevens to try and fill that gap. They were both of them were number eights. India just played both of them because they thought they would get the batting equivalent of Jadeja out of them, but it did not happen.
No, but if you look at those numbers, and obviously I'm looking at them right now, but it just also tells you that as shit Ashwin was, he was probably the pick of the spinners because no other spinner features in that thing. He's outbowled Maharaj, who also played all three tests over there. And by the way, someone's going mad in the comments. Who is your T20 wicket keeper? You said KL doesn't fit. I said he doesn't fit in the scheme of things, and I know Pant will eventually come back and take that reign. Right now, we're debating between Ishan Kishan and Jitesh. There's potentially Samson, and the evidence of today. Generally, if you look at metrics like first 10 ball strike rate, spin bash, and all of that, I would love to have Samson over KL in that race. But Jitesh for me, because he played the last couple of series. So let's stick with that and let's not deviate. Next, how do you see the test series then unfolding? Do you think India can pick up precious WTC points? Because at the end of the day, that's all they can do.
Yeah, I think it'll be tough. Tough from the point of view that I'm not sure of the next two options in terms of the first two will do their job. in Bumrah and if it is Siraj. I trust them to at least start well. But India's problem in all the last three tests that they've played, or more than that, has been the third and the fourth option. And then what they do with the fifth one, because how the third and fourth go. So I think that's where they'll have to be tactically very, very ahead and proactive. And again, in South Africa, you don't see a lot of big scores. So everything has to be done quickly, and you can't quite keep waiting for those mistakes. And of course, you have to read conditions well. So that is the biggest star that you have to asterisk that you have to put there. That hopefully they do that, and the batting will be tested because bounce will be there, and you have Jaiswal, Gill, Shreyas, three very young guys in that top six. So it will not be easy. But if they find a way, if they come together as a collective, then there is a lot of hope there. But I'll keep my hopes low. I'll take a 1-1. So to be very very optimistic about it, but it'll take something special to get a 1-1 also.
Okay, let's see how it unfolds. Remember, we will be doing a preview for that test series on Monday Night Live with Nix and me and Akshay, and potentially a South African fan if we can get them on Christmas to join us in that one and join us for all the reviews. I say reviews because after each day's play, join us at cricket.com. It will be similar times to the ODIs where it'll probably be a 11 o'clock stump. So we'll be there to, of course, get your questions in. We'll end proceedings by taking a couple of questions really quickly then, and keep it short, guys, if because we've already kind of surpassed the time. And 50 people, you guys watching, please hit the like button. The man who wears 10 got out in 10 today. Question is about him, David Miller. Will he play the next ODI World Cup, boys? Nikhil, really quickly, 34? No?
Can't say.
Unlikely.
It's 4 years.
Yeah, Champions Trophy,
4 years
yes, maybe, but
time.
yeah, World Cup, very well dicey.
I
Okay,
mean,
and
if
what
he
about
stays informed, does well. We don't know.
Yeah,
maybe? Paji, do you think Arshdeep should be added to the test squad? Mixed formats?
You can have him in the squad or as a bowler if you want to practice for Jansen. But yeah, not sure if he'll make the 11 anyway. I mean, I think he still has to bowl a lot more for you to get the confidence that he'll do well in test matches.
Hmm. And Nikhil Baiju trying to be provocative, but it's not going to happen as much as we all want to do in some quarters. I don't think it is. We don't think it is. There's a lot of time, especially in the white ball setup when you add both the formats. Some fans optimistic, some fans definitely going to be realistic about that. Right, guys, thank you so much for your time. And a kind reminder to join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. as well, because that is something that you guys will want to tune into because India on the cusp of something special. They already beat the England Eves and thumped them. Can they do that to the Australian Eves? That'll be interesting to see. They're already kind of in the driver's seat on day one at stumps. So join Akshay and Neha in that particular video at 8 p.m. and that'll be it. Thank you, Gurkiyat, for your time, and we'll leave it there. Nix has already left us, so what are we waiting for? It's time we get the hell out of here too. But keep watching cricket.com, subscribe and like, and check out all our reels, check out all our playlists. You would not be disappointed. If you are, tell us in the next live show. Cheers.